Hey there, guys. Today I'm looking at Stalker 2. So overall, it's kind of all right. I mean, Stalker 2. I mean, funnily enough, I think the first Stalker game came out almost a decade ago, and if I'm just being honest, it's updated, but they're very similar. Like when you open up the inventory, from the coat menu to look at all of your, bandages and stuff. It's like, oh, I recognize this, or I recognize this meter and this thing. So, the kind of core gameplay is more or less the same. It's been obviously polished and smoothed out. This feels like Stalker 1.5 is what I'm really trying to get at. The other thing about Stalker as well is the fact that a lot of the things in your inventory just get crowded up, and the original Stalker was aiming to be this kind of survival horror, well, more so survival, not really much horror kind of game. Because it's supposed to be a dystopian, post-apocalyptic thing, kind of like Fallout, And the approach they took is that you have to find rations, you have to find food, you have to find all this other stuff, and do a bunch of different missions. So again, here, that's all still kind of here, and it just feels kind of archaic because your inventory just gets full with all this stuff that you don't really need, but you can pick up and have anyway, and it's not streamlined in any way. And again, I just wish they would learn some design choices from the last game instead of just doing things over again, essentially. Outside of that, there are some pretty cool new things in here. One of them being the graphical update. I mean, obviously the game looks very, very nice. The gunplay is much more polished. Guns ended up jamming on me. I had a couple guns jammed depending on their condition, which was kind of interesting. Like you actually see the shell caught in there, and that was cool. It automatically resolves itself, but it's kind of a nice little feature. You also, I want to say, I guess artistically speaking, were the anomalies. So now you have the kind of translucent things in the air. You now have a little device that is beeping when you come near these things, as well as another device that detects where the I forget what they're called, but the rewards in the anomalies or the anomalies themselves. You have a separate one for detecting that. You also have spouts of fire coming out of the ground. You have this really cool part in the first mission where you have to use this sensor detector thing, and it has this kind of blue glow that kind of goes around it. And so it kind of meshes the whole magical and sort of realistic aspects of the game together, which I really do enjoy. And Fallout definitely has that too. Not exactly magical aspects, but the fact that a bunch of people decided to make their new post-apocalyptic home on an aircraft carrier. So kind of weird things like that. Kind of like, okay, yeah, this is post-apocalypse, but we're going to also add some interesting stuff. So, of course, the two main enemies in Stalker are still, humans and the mutants, essentially. They're pretty difficult. I was playing this game on, the normal difficulty, and some of ththese things are really, really fast and really like bullet sponges. They take a lot of health to take down. But yeah, I would say that at least compared to the first Stalker was a little bit more open world and open-ended in a bad way, where there wasn't a very clear indication of where you should go. And I think the one thing that they've improved with this game is there's a better density of missions, submissions. Things are very clearly mapped out on your PDA now when you bring it out and you're selecting missions across the map, going here, going there, etc. It's very clear, and it's more compressed. So like, oh, okay, as I'm going across to this main objective, there's a side objective to go into this cave and find an anomaly or a secret thing that helps, boost my health or ammo or whatever. And so those are really fun, and I like how those act as kind of the in-game multipliers, which makes sense. I also remember, just on the graphical aspect, that the game is actually very, very it looks really nice, but I don't know how I explain this, but I was finishing my main missions. I came back to the main Stalker base, and it was kind of the early morning hours, and there was a thunderstorm. I don't just remember the sun coming up, or just before it started coming up, you had like this orange red light that was reflecting on the puddles on the ground with the mud, and it was a very surreal, really cool, in-depth moment that I really, really appreciated. I thought it looked really nifty. Just the lighting was really nice. And so yeah, this game definitely has that, where there's a lot more of those kind of moments. Again, managing your inventory is kind of a pain when you have more of the same gun, or more than of the same gun, or different guns. Again, I feel like the pacing of the outlay of the missions is better. What else? Oh yeah, the voice acting in this one, since the original I'm pretty sure was only in Ukrainian or Russian or whatever. This one, it's in English now, but oh no, I'm sorry, the original was in English, but it was the classically poorly voice acted type. But in here, I noticed a lot of the main voice actors are Irish for some reason, or English or something. I just found that to be a really funny little, I don't know, quirk of the game. It's kind of like, oh, okay, cool, that's interesting. The guns all work pretty fine. You have your standard pistol, double barrel shotgun, AK-47, sniper rifle, and the game is fun enough in itself. But Stalker 2 was not the game that I wanted it or expected it to be. In terms of story beats, they have not done really anything new. It's like, okay, you're a stalker, you go out, you find stuff, and you help people with the random stuff. I need something more, at least like Fallout 3, when you are given the mission to go find your dad. At least that was somewhat or partially interesting or motivating, that you had an overarching story. But here it feels very much like a game, like, oh, you're just here to interact with the environment, and just do game-like things without really having an overarching story or mystery or anything to really grab the attention of the player from a story perspective, which is pretty unfortunate. I can see people playing this and liking it, but this is not Game of the Year material. It's not someone's favorite game material. It's very replaceable and very much inspired and scraping by, and kind of trailing off the coattails of other games that have done the same thing except more and better. So playing Stalker 2 feels like, yeah, it feels like playing Stalker 1, but it also feels less iconic and more like the other FPS games that have come out in the last decade. So it's a mixture of the two things, which makes it incredibly serviceable, but nothing super interesting. It's not like, oh, cool, here's this weird Russians, Ukrainian lore or style of, gameplay or interface or, story or lore or writing that makes me think, wow, this is really different. It's really not. It's very, very similar to a lot of things we've all played. Yeah, and because of that, I don't know much else to say about it. Again, it's fine if you want to like kill some time and see what Eastern style studio does, trying to replicate a Western style studio. Like the game, again, it's serviceable, but I can't recommend it. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else to say about Mr. Stalker. Except I might actually consider playing the first one rather than this one, since it has a little bit more of a tone and energy. I mean, the highlight of these games is sitting around the campfire with all these Slavic guys Slav squatting and singing songs and playing the guitar and stuff like that. But beyond that, I don't know. It doesn't really offer anything really real to me. Yeah, but that's it. I'll see you later. Bye.